Hey guys, what's going on? So today I'm going to show you a cheap and quick, easy to make a tip up for when you go ice fishing. It's going to look just like this. The idea is that when the fish bites, it pulls down, flag goes up. So this is probably one of the cheapest ways to do it, and one of the easiest ways. It's designed so that even the poorest of fishermen can make these things. So there's lots of different variations to make this, at least this way, but this is just my variation. So if you decide to try to replicate this and you come up with a couple of your own variations, great. I encourage it. Find your way that works the best, but this is essentially what it's going to be, right? And then it's just going to hopefully tip up when you catch fish. So here's what I've got. I've got heavy duty stapler, just a regular hand saw. I've got some wooden sticks, the flags, and then you're going to need a drill. I've got this to measure the length of my sticks, and then I'll show you. Oh, did I forget my hammer? I forgot the hammer. You don't need a hammer, but I like to use it, so I'm going to go grab that real quick, and then we'll just start going through this thing step by step. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is just measure about 15 inches on the stick. You can choose your own length. I choose 15 just because I know for a fact that none of the holes on the ice will ever be as wide as 15 inches. And sometimes when you go out there and you drill into a hole that was already there and it's usually a little bit wider, you just don't want your stick too narrow, otherwise it falls inside the hole. So it's not what you want. And then next I'm just going to go ahead and I'll cut this piece off, and then we'll work with the longer side. Okay, so the wood's cut. Next you're going to want to take just a small drill bit, really small. You want it to be roughly the same size as the wire on the flag, and preferably honestly a little bit smaller than the wire, that way it's not too loose. And then just go ahead, pick a spot anywhere in the middle here and just drill it through real quick. We'll try to get that centered up. Take it and alright. Okay, so just like that. Okay, next step, take your flag, alright, and go ahead and just put it in there. That's perfect. Now, ideally you want your flag side a little bit longer so that when it tips, your flag sticks up nice and high. On this one, I didn't get the flag up as high as I wanted, which is okay. I ended up trimming this side a little bit. So don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure you have enough length on the flag side so that when it does stick up, it's nice and tall. So once we're at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to take the side without the flag, and we're just going to fold that up right about there, so that it's basically sticking straight up. Then we're going to take the side with our flag. I'm just going to flip it over in my hand so that I can get the best grip on it, and I'm going to fold it up as well, and then I'm going to fold it all the way over, just like that, so that basically what you want is that you want the flag to kind of lay down on the ground, and what will end up happening is when this thing gets bit, it's going to flip it up like so. So now what we need to do is we need to kind of get this look a little cleaner, a little nicer. So I'm just going to kind of fiddle with it to get the wire kind of sitting flush, and that's why I brought the hammer. What I'll end up doing is I'll just kind of hammer that down, get it nice and flat, and I'll even kind of hammer the wire hard enough to where it kind of creates a groove into the wood, and then we'll show you the next step from there. So you can see right there what I mean by hammering it down. It's just gonna sort of create a groove. So I'll go ahead and hammer this side now This is the side I just got done hammering. It kind of sits a little bit flatter now. So let's go ahead and do this side. Alright, so now you can see it just kind of helps form the wire a little bit better. It's not nearly as, you know, crooked and warped and all that. So it just kind of helps. So this is the one that I completed before the video. You can see that just to make sure that the wires stayed in place and that they didn't rotate, I just took some staples, some heavy-duty staples, stapled them in. So that's what we're going to do to this one. You'll want to use a nice heavy-duty stapler. I've got 1/4 inch staples in here right now. You can probably use longer if you want. If you're using pine wood, which is usually pretty soft, your staples will go in pretty easily. I'm using the 1/4 inch actually specifically because they are tipped on the ends, so they're actually going to penetrate the wood just a little bit better. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to do 2 staples. So it's going to look just like that, and if you want, you can kind of just tap them in all the way through. Don't tap too hard, otherwise you'll bend the staples. So I'll just kind of tap them. And then I will go ahead and staple 1 or 2 if I can fit 2. I think I can. I'll have to adjust that a little bit. I think I can get 2, so we'll fit 2 on this side as well. Just like that. I'm going to go ahead and tap these in as well, since they didn't quite go all the way down. We're going to have to move that out of the way real quick. Should be good enough. So now, we'll move all this. You've got basically the tip-up setup. And so what you want to do at this point, take a pair of pliers, or in this case I just have these little clippers. I'm using these because I can get a nice, I don't even know what you would call it. I'm able to basically just get this thing bent a little cleaner with these things. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you look at the one that's already completed, this is how your trap, or I'm sorry, your tip up is going to sit. It's going to sit right over the hole, and then you want just a little hook area for your fishing line to kind of rest on, so that when you do get the bite, it pulls down on it like so. So we're going to basically do the same thing. I'm just going to take a little bit right here, about that much, and I'm just going to go ahead and bend it. You want to bend it away from the flag. So I'll go ahead and bend it like that. Okay, and then next you're going to go ahead and create sort of just a little hook. It doesn't necessarily matter if it's a great hook. You just want your fishing line to have tension on the wire. You just kind of have to fiddle with it a little bit. So what I might do, it looks okay for now. Before I get out on the ice, I might enhance it just a little bit more, but that's the basic idea. Let's go ahead and bend that section a little more. Okay, so, and then what you want to do, if you don't want your flag sitting too far back, you can always bend it like so. Okay, and that's going to, I don't know if you can tell, but that's going to angle your, stop shaking, that's going to angle your tip up. So if you don't want it leaning so far back like that, just bend that flag downward, and then it's going to rest. That's also going to help it pivot forward a little more, like so. So the last thing you're going to want to do is you're going to need somewhere to wrap your fishing line. And so what I've done, if you can see here, is I basically just took a regular drill bit and I just kind of drilled right down the side there and just created a little notch. And I did it to both sides. And you want to do it as if your tip up were standing up the way it is. You want to go ahead and drill down. The reason why you're going to do that is so that you can wrap your fishing line around without getting it tangled on this. You try to do it this way, right now you're dealing with this and that, but when you got it sitting like this, you can wrap your line like so. So I've got it notched on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing to the one we just started. We'll put a couple notches in there, and then it'll be pretty much complete. So we'll just put it, you know what, we might even use a bigger bit than this. That way I'm not having to drill multiple times. That's a bigger one. That is a size 15/64, if you're curious. And then I'm just going to drill it. We'll lift it up so we don't drill into the concrete. Just going to kind of wiggle it a little bit. And boom, you've got a notch. I would recommend that if you have a sander, you might sand the edges here. That way you don't potentially cut into your fishing wire or your fishing line. So what I'll do later on is I'll kind of smooth that out. But for now, that looks pretty good. I will go ahead and do the same thing on this side. Okay, I've got both sides notched out. Like I said, I would recommend that you smooth those out if you've got some sandpaper, just to make sure that you don't cut into your wire. And that is it, folks. All you do at that point is just tie on your fishing line and then throw that right over top of the hole. And then when you get that bite, it's going to go ahead and yank onto that. All right, and then your tip up just goes right up like that. So hope you enjoy. Also, what I'm going to be doing here is I'm actually going out ice fishing tomorrow. So I will actually, once I get the video for the ice fishing uploaded, I will drop a link in the description of this video as well, so that you can see how well they worked. And I'm confident they'll work. This is a tried and true technique for the tip up. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll see you on the ice.